I think it was more so just like covering everyone's stuff. I covered everyone's inspection, everyone's showing. I feel like I still do that, but like that's like how you learn.
Yeah.
It's like
just
picking
reps.
up, just like picking up everyone's showings or open houses.
Yeah.
Just like you have to start like getting yourself into the industry. And I feel like covering inspections for me was like the most I've ever learned, just because whether it's like a condo or a single family home, like they're so different. There's so much to learn from it.
What's the 5 Ps? Do you remember it?
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
There you go. It doesn't matter how much money we get. If we don't close, it's no money, right? So no close is no money. I'm everything that I am because of my dad's death. And I wouldn't be as successful without his death. Hello, welcome to the Jason Theory. We are in season 4. I can't remember the episode number, but we are joined with a new member, our newest member of the KlopasStratton team, Maggie. And Maggie, give us a little bit of your bio, quick.
Okay. I have been an agent now for a little bit over 4 years. I just moved to KlopasStratton team in, I don't know, a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
I moved to Jameson Sotheby's in October. I was at Compass for a while and loving it.
How was, 4 years ago, you're getting involved. So did you get involved right before COVID or right after COVID?
Like 2021.
So you were after.
Yes.
So were we?
So,
I don't know my dates. That whole time is like.
Yeah.
Was there a shut? Was it still shut down? Like, could you?
Shut down. I actually had a full-time job when I first started real estate.
Okay. What were you doing?
I was doing marketing and graphic design for this like high-end hardware company.
Okay.
Corporate life was not for me, so I went to real estate.
Okay. What didn't you like about corporate life?
Everything. I think too. I don't know, a lot.
Okay. You didn't like working for someone else.
Didn't like working for someone else. I didn't like sitting behind a computer all day. I was in like a creative field and then just like kind of lost like the ability to be creative.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because real estate is a creative field that people don't understand that, but you're constantly trying to find different ways to market, different ways to get like you're constantly. It's not a consistent business. You're constantly changing who you are, which is a creative force.
Right.
Okay. I like that. Okay. So you're working there. You hate it. How did you transition to real estate? Like, did someone that's out there wants to get involved in real estate because they hate listening to someone else or want to work for themselves? What was like the process of moving to real estate? I
think it was definitely something that I was like thinking about for so long. And I was like, if I were to do something on my own, I definitely want to get into real estate. Like, obviously, who doesn't love homes? Okay. Like, who doesn't like looking at properties? And I think just me building connections with people and like being able to like work directly with people and not behind like a screen all day, where I was like, I think that was something that I was like, okay, I know I can like kind of do this on my own. I'm good with people. I like meeting people in person. And it's not like a product that I'm selling. It's not like a same, like everyone's like, oh, go to sales. But I'm like, I don't want to keep selling the same product over and over. Yeah. Where it's like, especially too, if I don't love the product or if I don't like believe in the product, I feel like people get into these like sales roles.
Oh, so you hated the tools you were selling. They were awful tools.
I was like, I hated everything about that company. And I even liked competitors better than us, but like it kind of got me into the real estate world a little bit. Like
how?
Just because like we worked with like high-end sliding door systems and like high-end cabinetry. So like I'll go into like a high-end kitchen and know the hardware now.
That's cool.
So I can know. And like I used to be like, I was really good at like, I could figure out like hinges and like how to build cabinets. So it was a little bit different of an industry, but it kind of like led me into this.
I could see you at a showing being like, you see this here? We're going to take this hinge down. We're going to move this here. This should open this way. This door is, look, this should have 4 hinges, not 3. No, look at the weight.
Actually, there was a showing I was at last summer with one of my clients and the agent wasn't with us. Like I was taking a buyer out and they had this sliding door system that I didn't even touch it. And the whole thing fell off the track. And I called the agent and I was like, hey, the sliding door broke. And the owner came in and she was so pissed off. And she was like, you need to fix this door. And I was like, I think you have the wrong track system on here. Like your door is too heavy for the track. And it was like this, like, it was just a crappy track. She probably got it. I mean, I had to be. It was probably like from Home Depot that she ordered it. And it was like,
you should have followed up on that.
Well, the agent was like, don't worry about it. I mean, I honestly didn't do anything. We just like shut the door. It was like, I don't know. It was like just like a 2-door system.
Yeah, it was just garbage.
And it was garbage. And the second that the 2 doors touched, the whole track fell off.
Oh my God.
So it's just like,
all right, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to the crazy things that happened to a house. So but like, did you talk to anybody? Like there's gotta be something that's like, hey, I love real estate. I want to get into this. Like what was the push?
I honestly would say because I was in this industry, I would go to like these kitchen and bath shows.
And you're like, this is what I can do.
Yeah. And it was just more so like, I was like, I love this industry. I think I started following more people that were in the industry. And I was like, this is something I enjoy. Yeah. Plus we live in Chicago. So it's so dense of a community that there's so much real estate. It's not like you're in the suburbs where it's like, oh, I'm just going to like work on my neighborhood or work on my little town.
I'm going to, there's 400 homes. I'm going to fight with 20 other agents for the 400 homes.
So then it's like you can get into rentals, and it was an easy transition to start.
So you got licensed.
Yes. Okay. Had my other job, but working from home at my other job.
Okay.
So then I actually started at EXP.
Okay. So you were doing, did you keep the other job while you were, hey, you got to pay bills.
I wasn't trying my hardest though anymore.
I get you. You had checked out.
Yeah, I was checked out. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna like build up my like learning and everything. But EXP probably wasn't the best way to start just because you're very on your own. Okay. So they're going to hate us now, but it's okay. Who? EXP. All right. Nothing against EXP. No. Okay. So you go there, you start there. Yeah. You have your other job, because a lot of people want to get in the industry. So this is what's really interesting. You've been in for 4 years. You joined at a really hard time, which then became a very lucrative time. And you have your job that you're obviously just, hey, listen, let me do enough to get a paycheck because I have aspirations for something else. Correct. You're going after those aspirations. You join EXP. You're kind of on your own. At what point were you like, I need some fucking direction? It was probably 8 months into EXP. And they really try and sell you on, you're taking way more money home with you, but you have zero training, or you just do videos. And it's very, what is their thing? It's like once you start, you get 80% split until you hit a certain number. And then it's like 100% or whatever it is. All right. So you have to pay. That's how Keller Williams is too. Like you pay a certain amount and then it's all yours. But how it used to be. I don't know if it's still that way. Yeah, but we started with 80%. So I'm like thinking like, oh, I'm going to take home way more than anyone else is offering me. Yeah. But you don't have the marketing. You don't have the training. Once I went to Compass, I was like, okay, I'm going to go on a team. Figure things out. Everyone's like, yeah. It was just like a totally different whenever the money up front is a lot, it's that way because they're in any job, right? Because they're not offering you anything else, right? We have to pay these people so much money because there's no future. Yeah. Right. So like, yeah, I mean, I get it's like you have to be completely on your own. So like, especially as a new agent, I think that there's so much to experience and learn, and that you just need training. You need to be below someone. Like I even had a mentor at EXP. They were like, hire this mentor. And I would call him like 800 times a day. And he was like, stop calling me. So it like just was like not a fit. And I was like, I have to go on a team, take a lower split and learn the proper way. 100%. So that's like where it flipped after 8 months. So, and I love that you're saying that because you're like, hey, I'm not worried about the upfront money. It's the back end money, right? Yeah. It's like, hey, I don't need a building with a ton of rent up front. I want a lot of money in the back end on the building itself. Like that's the right way to do it. So you go to Compass, you start surrounding yourself with other agents. There's a vibe. You start to learn. How do you start? Obviously the group you were with was a larger group that gave you lead generation, but by the end. Not till later. Yeah. Okay. Not my first group. Not my first group at all. Your first group. No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you go to Compass, your first group. How do you start getting your feet wet? I think what I actually loved the structure of the first group I was at. Ashley Donay was the lead. Okay. She just really trained us, I feel like, in the best way possible. We were all on our own, but we did have a person doing all the marketing. We had someone doing the social media for us, but I think it was more so just like covering everyone's stuff. I covered everyone's inspection, everyone's showing. I feel like I still do that, but like that's like how you learn.
Yeah.
It's like just picking up, just like picking up everyone's showings or open houses.
Yeah.
Just like you have to start like getting yourself into the industry. And I feel like covering inspections for me was like the most I've ever learned, just because whether it's like a condo or a single family home, like they're so different. There's so much to learn from it.
So like looking at where you are now, I mean, there's just so many great things you just said. So looking at you are right now and looking back, isn't it odd that there are groups and there are agents that never go to inspections, never go to their showings?
Yes.
I'm like, how do you, and this is not you, I'm talking about them, how do they get better when they're not immersed in their industry and immersed in that knowledge? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Yeah.
Like, I think what kind of separated my mind with it too is there were people too on the team that were like, oh, this agent is so successful and they don't ever go to their own inspection. So therefore, like, I'm a new agent, I'm not going to go to my own inspection either. I think like people catch on to what other people are doing, and you have to separate yourself and be like, okay, just because that agent's so successful and they're not doing their own showings or like they're not covering their own inspection, people like that's not going to make every single person successful. Well, so like I feel like you have to like figure out your own avenue, and like whether someone's already successful, it's like, well, they probably covered inspections when they first started. Like that's
it's also relative, right? So like that person that's talking to you is saying, oh my God, that person is so successful and they don't do X, Y, and Z. I would come back to that person and say, well, how successful would they be if they did X, Y, and Z? So like it's depending on the person that's looking at that person, that success is relative to them, because someone else could look at that guy, that person that doesn't do their inspections, and I would look at them and be like, man, they could be so much more successful if they did this. So what you said, you don't want to look at that person and say, that's like the peak. That's the mountain where I want to be, when you know that they're not doing the work.
Right.
Like I can look at an athlete and say, man, that person is amazing and they never work. What a shame.
Right.
I wouldn't look at them and be like, oh, I wouldn't look at them and be like, that's great. I would look at them and go, what a shame.
Right.
Like all this talent, and you could be this, but you're this. It's still great.
Yeah.
But your real goal in life is here. Yeah. That's where you should be.
So I just think like that's like I think just like putting yourself in any position that you can in real estate, like covering anything, even with buildings. It's like you may not want to cover someone's like 15-minute showing somewhere that is not close to your house or whatever. But then it gets you an idea of that building. So then when you have clients in the future talking about it, you're like, oh, I know that building. Or like, I know, where this is. It just gives you a little bit more credibility, I think, when you're with your future clients.
So knowledge is credibility.
Yeah.
So you're just assessing knowledge, which makes you more credible, which then in the long run is going to make you extremely successful. I mean, think about it. You've been in it for 4 years. You're pretty successful for 4 years in. Think of where you're going to be in another 6 when you've got another 1,000 transactions. You've seen another 10,000 buildings.
Right.
You've had another 400 doors fall off their tracks.
Yeah.
All that stuff. I think that's what people don't understand. Like, well, I'm a buyer's agent or I'm a seller's agent. I'm like, how are you negotiating against a seller when you've never been a seller? Like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't slept with the enemy, how do I know how to defeat them?
Right.
That's like rule 1.
Yeah.
Know your enemy.
Right.
You don't know the tricks because you've never played them on the other side. So you're going to get just demolished by anyone.
Yeah.
That's on both sides.
Right.
That's played both sides, the buying and the selling.
Yeah.
The thing with the inspection and people not going to the showings, I don't get it. And I don't get the the buyers and sellers that continue to go back to those people because you're not getting true service.
Right.
You're getting dollar service.
Yeah.
You know, and you're basically a number to them.
Right.
You're in and out.
Right.
So you were on your second. So when did you, how long? So it's 2021. I think we're in lockdown.
No, so now we're in I think it was.
So EXP was during COVID.
Yes. And then Compass was 2022, like January 2022.
Okay.
My team all split up in like April. So I was there for like 4 months.
Oh, like the Beatles.
So, and then went to another like small team. Okay. But that was mainly like just covering like little.
Hey, let's all help each other out.
Kind of like, but more so like, oh, you co-list, you know, you take on the full property pretty much.
Okay.
And I thought that was just like not the way I wanted to work either. Because it was kind of like, it was focusing on someone else's business.
Yes.
Where I'm doing all the coverage, where I'd rather focus on like gaining my own clients.
During this time, how are you building up your book of business? Like, what are you doing in terms of like, for an agent that's 2 years in, trying to get, what tasks are you doing? What things did you find that gave you success as you got in to your second and third year?
Open houses were like my number one thing.
Yeah,
I would probably
so that works.
Yeah, I'd probably do at least like 4 a weekend or try to. Definitely 2. But I think when I first started, I was like trying to do 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, because I feel I'm not someone to like pick up the phone and like cold call. I'd rather like meet someone in person.
I mean, we did a mastermind session and I'm speaking and I'm like, listen, I can't fucking cold call people. And I'm like, I just can't. I said, I know who I am. Yeah. And that's what I said. I said, once I got you in front of my face, I'm like, I can talk to anybody. I just can't cold call. Yeah. So I was for the first 12 years, minimum 4 open houses. And then sometimes I did Fridays. Like if it was like at an L stop area, I would do like a Friday at like 5 o'clock and I would get people. Yeah. But that's how I got my name out. And then once you have that rapport, it's like, oh, here's my number. Then it's like,
yes. Yeah. And I think too, because I started off with open houses, you obviously start with buyers. And I think that's how I got the majority of my buyers.
For sure.
And then it started to flip. I think like early last year, all those buyers are calling me like, hey, we're ready to sell. So then like for being like 3 years in the business, I was getting all these sellers. So then it kind of like that's when I started to kind of like balance both.
Yes.
More.
But you always want to be a listing agent.
Yeah.
You always want the inventory.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's how I think that's like how I best started to perform with like gaining clients and like even just referrals and whatever. It was like mainly starting from open houses.
What tactics have you done over the last year now that you've got all this going on? How do you stay in touch with those clients?
Well, I'm still trying to like be better about it.
Have you finished your reach out?
Reach out? No. I have like 5,000 contacts.
I know, but I told you it's like you could do 100 a week.
I know. And there's a lot of contacts that I just don't know. Like they
just get rid of them. I know.
But
you have to purge.
I'd say like I definitely like the whole, I think social media is big too. Like I think just staying in touch with people on social media, like
that's a reach out.
Yeah. Like if their story pops up and I'm like, I love your dog
yeah.
or whatever, like cool, wherever you are, like love this, you know, like I think just like staying top of mind is really important. So like little touches like that, even through Instagram, I think is big. And then texting, you know, like, hey, I'm in the neighborhood or whatever. How are you? You just had a kid kind of thing.
Okay. And do you keep yourself accountable? Like, do you say, hey, I'm going to do 3 this day, 4 this day? Or you just, you're not there yet?
Yeah. I gotta be more organized.
That's the next step is the organization. Yeah. The organization is what's really going to take you to the next level. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
Like when I was talking to Sophia and we were talking to you, I'm like, listen, I go, Sophia, I met with her. She does an incredible amount of business and she's completely disorganized.
That's because my brain's like, I'm like 8 different directions at a time.
Me too. If she could just get this down to a pace, forget it. And then on top of it, you just create so much more time when you're like, okay, pop. Oh, okay, I'm done with this stuff now.
Yeah. No, I definitely, that's like my one goal. And that's like too, like why I wanted to join a team, just have like a little more structure and be able to like learn from you both who are like so good at
reaching
out and having your organization down.
Yeah. I mean, I can't put my clothes away, but I can keep my work organized. So you then switch to a big team.
Yes.
What did you like? And we don't have to name names or anything, but because there's just interest to me. Yeah. So what did you like for someone that's like, hey, I'm getting in the industry. Like there is good that came from being from a team. You've had teams.
Yeah.
You're at a big team now that's a lead gen team.
Yes.
What did you like about it? And what did you find the shortcomings are with the bigger team?
I liked a lot of the people on the team.
That's
so,
huge.
Yeah. But I also didn't like that it was so big that you don't have a relationship with most people on a team. So it's like you're in these team meetings and it's like,
who are you?
Yeah. And then I feel like you kind of get lost in like this, like to me, it doesn't feel as tight knit or as structured. It just seems like it's too, like there's no organization to the team. Okay. It just seems like it's more so like transactional. And that's kind of like what I wanted to get away from. I didn't want my business to feel transactional, where we were like this big team trying to get a big number.
Well, that's that team. That's it. There's nothing wrong with it either. I always tell people like, I'm like, that concept is not relationship based. It's transactional based.
Yeah.
It's in and out, in and out. My only problem and with anything like that is that has an end.
Yeah.
Like it only takes Zillow saying, F you Compass. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I always think, because I was a floor trader and seeing trillions of dollars traded hands every day. And if a company, it's the wrong word, if a total, if a total business, if a total industry, that's the right word, if a total industry can change in 2 weeks that trades trillions of dollars a day, how long does it take for real estate or any other industry to change like this?
Right.
I mean, I saw people making so much money to like broke.
Yeah.
Instantly because they all relied on how this industry was run.
Right.
And you knew it was going to change. So my problem with lead gen is like, man, if you build no relationships, it's a conversation I had this morning with somebody. If you don't build relationships and it's all transactional, which I love the fact, one of the things you said to me is when we met is like, I don't even use those leads.
Yeah.
I was like, ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Like this person's an actual agent.
Well, I feel like I noticed like once you start, it's almost like you meet these people who don't know you, they don't trust you. And then you're driving around for so long, you're taking them around. And then I feel like it's more so like, they're like, okay, thanks. Like, don't need to talk to you again. And then I'm like, I'd rather meet someone in an open house, build that relationship, have them trust me, and then
get 10 more referrals from them.
Yeah. Or then I'm like, okay, and you're making such a small split of like what you could be making just because it's so quick and like transactional with the lead generation.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'd rather sit at 10 open houses and maybe talk to like 2 good people and have that be someone that's
twice the money.
Yeah. Twice the money, or like even 3 times the money.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And then they trust me where they're like, hey, my friend's also looking. Or,
yes.
Like and I've always been someone just to like meet people in person anyway.
It's a lasting formula.
Yes,
it's a lasting business because you're building relationships.
Yeah.
And all of life is relationships.
Right.
And that's it. So like, I do agree with you. And that's my one, like, and listen, these huge groups that do all this Zillow, that's fine. But like, when you look, and it could be because of my past experience, when you look at your business and you're like 80% of my business comes from one thing that I can't control, ooh, that freaks me out.
Yeah.
I'd be vomiting every night. Like I would be like, okay, so this company can close and I can't feed my kids.
Right.
I would freak out.
Yeah. But I think that's what a lot of agents struggle with, doing the opposite, where they're like, I'm so used to this lead gen, where it's like, okay, I think it just makes you feel busy, because it's like, okay, I think so many people are like, well, if I don't have that extra stuff in the back,
it's a crutch
coming in. Yes. Then
so you don't become good.
Yeah. So like that was like a big I just didn't like it. And I think that's what I also love about real estate is that there's so many different avenues to take and you kind of just like find what you fit into.
Yeah. I mean, that's the great thing, right? Is the pie does it. I always thought everything, and this was just my own, without a lack of a better word, mental masturbation. There's like, my philosophy teachers say it all the time. Like, yeah, half of life is mental masturbation. You just sit there and think, and there's like no outcome from it. So like, I like the fact that you can take a look at these teams and you can take a look at EXP. You could take a look at us. You could take a look at all these different people. We all do it differently. Mm-hmm. And I always thought it was a zero-sum game because I came from an industry where it was, if that person's losing money, I'm making money. If I'm making money, if I'm losing money, someone's taking my money. That's the industry I was at. Yeah. So I always thought everything was zero-sum game. About 7 years ago, I'm like, it's really not. You could just continue to open up the pie and everyone can do what they do.
Yeah.
And everyone could be happy in what they do. I could look at somebody and say, I just don't understand how you would want to be transactional. There's no heart in that. Like there's no accomplishment. There's no relationships. Like to me, that's what, like getting up in the morning and thinking about all these great people we talk to that are so nice. Yeah. That's what makes life worth living.
Right. Right. And
then just being like, I'm going to go in, look at 10 leads, never talk to people again. Like,
which I'm like, that's fine. If that's how you want to run
that's how you operate. Yeah.
Like, totally fine. That's just not like the way that I saw myself. And plus, like I was 4 years in and then I was like, I started getting more unorganized. And I felt like I was just trying to do, like cover all these things. And I'm like, well, I want to focus on my clients. And I feel like too, when you surround yourself with some people who are not doing the same thing as you, then it just gets messy. So I was like, you got to do. Yeah. Now you left that big group. We had our conversation and then you went to Jameson and you were a solo agent. Solo.
Okay. You were solo for several months. What was like I would be lonely.
Yes. So that's a thing.
I need to see someone's face.
Well, I would go into the office a lot.
Which is a beautiful office.
It's a gorgeous office. And I love Jameson Sotheby's like from Compass because Compass is huge. And like the office just, I don't know, wasn't my vibe.
Yeah. You had to bring your own paper.
Yeah. Like I just, it
want to know how
like,
broke Compass is? You have to bring your own paper to print out listings.
Every time I had to print something, the printers were not working. It used to drive me insane. So
no admin left.
Nothing. I would always.
Every time I see those things, like, oh, we're doing this. In the back of my head, I'm like, dude, I know people that work there. You guys are broke.
There are so many days, like on a Saturday, I would like text the guy who worked at the front desk. And I'm like, this isn't working again, like screaming at him. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I thought we fixed the ink on Friday. And I'm like, no. So I went to Jameson Sotheby's. I loved this. Like, I love the boutique feel of it.
Oh man, it's so nice. It's
so different. Like I love going into the
energy
office.
Is crazy. And everyone, like when you look around, you're like, it's just ballers.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like,
and everyone's so like welcoming and friendly where I feel like Compass was like this team against this team.
Well, I think when you get real, that's so amazing you say that. I think when you get to a point where you have like real successful people, and I'm talking real success, like personal success, like happiness.
Yes.
You don't get jealous.
Right.
Like I want to say like 7 years ago, I stopped getting jealous and I started like really like rooting for others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jameson has that. I'm rooting that this person sells this $10 million home. Like I love that Nancy sells a $6 million home every month. Like you just love it.
That's how everyone seems to be. Like they're like, I'm so excited you came from Compass. And like everyone wants to see me succeed. And like everyone has like the same energy about them. So
and the company's focus is on that success where everyone else is pulling back.
Right.
They're focusing in on that. I do agree with you. That's what I felt too.
Yeah. And just even like with Jim Miller, all the training he does with the agents, like no one else is doing that. No other managing broker I've ever met has ever been as involved.
He's passionate.
Yes.
So that kind of comes across.
Like, I've been with managing brokers. I'm like, I don't even think you know my name. So it's just a totally different feel, but I would start going into the office, but I think I was dealing with so many I had like a couple crazy deals. And I think it was like a lot of like these sellers, and like the market was just weird.
Yeah.
Once it was like winter, I guess like late fall, winter,
late election year, right?
Yes.
So it was like every election year is the world going to explode.
Yeah. And
it didn't.
And it's just like these listings that obviously like there's so many crazy things that come up all the time in real estate, but it's so nice to be able to collaborate with a team member.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm like bothering everyone in the office, or like they're doing their own stuff and I'm like, I don't need to like keep calling you or whatever. Like you have your own busy life going on. So I think it was more so like, it does get lonely.
It does.
So then you're like, I think it helps like motivate you too when you're on a team, or like just to get ideas, like have marketing, you know.
I think you always need someone to check you too, like,
yes.
and be like, hey, listen, like
how you're like, how many rehabs
yeah,
go
like,
through today?
it just like there's only a select few percentage of people that are like just consistently holding themselves accountable.
Yeah.
Like you get to a point where like I'd like to think that I hold myself to an extreme accountability, but it's nice to have people around you say, hey, did you do this? Did you do this?
Yeah.
Did you do this? Like I had a mentor like that too, like who would like, I would say I did this, and he would be like, all right, well now you got to go here.
Right. Yeah.
Like you're here, you need to do here. And to get there, you need to do these things consistently, hold yourself accountability. And then all of a sudden you see the progress.
So I think it is like more so like accountability and organization, and just like things that I don't know or that I could learn from someone who's a lot better at it than I am.
And we're all, like you said, like we're all salesy, and we're all collaborative, and we're all in that, like, let's figure out how to do this. Let's figure out how to do this. We don't have, like, a lot of us don't have that other side of the brain that's like,
yes, yeah.
Like there's not many agents that are like, that can do that and then also do that. Because I think it's just two different personalities.
Yeah. And it's just nice, like, I think too, just with how much crazy stuff comes up within a transaction, that's like, how do we solve this?
Yeah, I agree with you.
There's, I think, just the amount of things that were just like right in a row for me, or like with every deal, I was like, oh my God, I just like need one smooth transaction. But it takes a lot, like for me, then you get so caught up in your mind. And it's like when you're like by yourself, that rather than just like being like, hey, this is a shit show of a deal.
Especially
like,
you're young, right? You've only been doing it 4 years.
Yeah.
So you haven't had all those mistakes and bullshit and all that. And then all of a sudden you're in the industry 10 years. You're like, oh, that's happened to me twice. This happens to me this time. This happens to me this time. I mean, I had a deal yesterday, actually 2 days ago, and the contract was signed, this. This guy is the most, like if I text him within 30 seconds, he's constantly this. We write a contract. He's my buyer. You write a contract. I send him a text, blah, blah, blah. Don't hear from him for 5 hours. Just off that, I knew he was canceling.
Wait, why?
You see things happen so many times.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, this has happened to me 6 times. The 6 times that someone that communicates nonstop stops communicating with me after we sign a contract. All those 6 times someone cancels.
Yeah.
You know, and then I call him at nighttime. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, ghosted you, this morning, cancellation.
Yeah.
But I knew it, right? Like, and I didn't stress. Like, if that's the first time it happened to me, I'd be like, what the fuck? This. I just sat back. My heart didn't move. I go, I know he's canceling. I'm just going to wait till it happens.
I think there was that day that Sophia came into the office and she was like, we had this place on the PLN, like these buyers came in. Her buyer came in or something, promised this deal. They went under contract and then it was like canceled. And I was like I forgot like all that went into it beforehand, but it was like, I was like, oh my God, I don't even know how I would call, like how I would relay that to the sellers, you know? And she was like, I'm so mad at whatever situation it was like with the buyer. And I'm like, God, like it's stressful.
Yeah. I always, like, when I have an uneasy feeling, I always, like, I don't let it percolate.
Yeah.
I attack it right away.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't feel good about this buyer. I don't feel good about this seller. this is the way it should be progressing and it's not.
Yeah.
And I'm just letting you know that there's something that's not kosher. Something's not moving the right way.
Yeah.
But that also allows me to relax and not be like, okay.
Like you're
totally at ease.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't care.
You're ready for it to happen.
Yeah. I'm like, well, it's just like, it's like, okay, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. Like we have a project that was supposed to be delivered a month ago. Developers, like, you know, 2 contracts have gone through their time frame. So now they can cancel with no penalty.
Okay.
And he's freaking out. And I'm like, hey man, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
We ran through their days. If they want to cancel, they can cancel. If they don't want to, they'll stay. But us sitting here and freaking out
it's
not accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, just stay the course.
Yeah.
Get the building done.
Right.
Stay the course.
Yeah.
All right. So interesting that you worked for Compass. You came to Jameson.
Yes.
So let's talk about this ongoing war between Zillow and Compass, which Compass will lose. And I think, now here's the issue. I've spent 3.5 hours alone with Robert Revkin in my life.
Okay.
Well, with Sophia.
Yeah.
So I've talked to this guy pretty intimately, more than most people that probably work for his company, other agents, let's just say, not his higher up management. So I know this guy's mentality. You know, he told me what he was trying to accomplish. After meeting him for 3 hours, I walked out and I said, this company's not going to make it.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's doing. The stock opened up close. He thought close to 20. And it's, I don't know. It's like at 4, it bounces around.
Yeah.
His thoughts on clear cooperation, I don't care one way or the other. I just don't. I don't think it's going to affect my business. Me and you are not Zillow reliant. I think the people in the top 10 that are Zillow people, there's like 4 of them that are just all Zillow. I would be in an absolute panic attack. But they're not that much. Like everyone thinks Compass. They're actually, I just chat GPT'd it. They're less than 10% of the market. So life's not going to change for anybody if they decide not to show their listings. But what they're selling is, and I want everybody to understand this, what they're selling, this totally reminds me when I met with him too. What they're selling is that they are going to take the listings, shop it only to their company. So out of 100 agents, only 8 are going to see it.
Yeah.
And they're saying that this is great for the seller because you can test the market and not accrue listing days. I want everybody to know that this is already out there.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example of Revkin telling people he's going to produce something that's already there.
Yeah.
Like when he told me about this technology, we were going to take all the listings and put them together and it's one spot for them. Because he's from New York and the East Coast. I'm like, bro, we have that already.
Right.
It's called the MLS.
Yeah.
You're not inventing anything.
Yeah.
So this is another thing that he thinks he's inventing that he's not. However, how could anybody in their right mind say, I don't want to be on the market, which I get. I actually think that there's a great place for the private market.
Yeah.
But the real private market, not Compass.
Right.
The private market.
Yes. Yeah.
The private market, everybody that has a broker sees it. All the brokers see it. The only people that don't see it are people that are not working with brokers. However, if you send that out, then you can get proper data.
Yeah.
The private market is basically, let me test a price and see what the reaction is. And you test a high price. That's the norm. And the market's either moved to that price or it's telling you haven't and you don't sell it. You can then take that product, change the price, put it on the market at a different price and have no market time. Revkin is telling everyone that he invented this. This has been going on for 3 years and maybe even longer. Top Agent Network and the MLS private market. So if you do the Compass coming soon and don't go on the private MLS market, which just gives you more exposure than Compass with the same results and the same protections, they will pull your listing off of Zillow. Compass is set to lose 50% of their listings on Zillow, which means 50% of their listings will never, ever be on Zillow ever again. And others are following Zillow.
Yeah.
Who in the right mind does this?
Right. But because they want to have everything in-house. They want to like...
Well, they need the fees. They're broke. Yeah. They want the both sides of the fees.
They can't afford ink.
I'm being honest with you. Like, people don't understand the amount of money that's made from that filing fee, that $450 fee.
Yeah.
He needs both sides. Guys, it's a publicly run company.
Right.
And if you don't think they're broke, you can just download the SEC docs. You can see their books. So he needs that money. Mm-hmm. This is his all in. I'm putting all my chips in. If it fails, I'm pulling the plug.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what buyer would do that?
I don't know. But I also don't know what sellers would want to do, because they just...
I mean, what sellers, not buyers. What sellers would want to do that?
Because they just, I don't know.
And what are they telling these people?
I don't even know how you would, I don't even know how you would persuade a seller and say like, hey, because I'm Compass. I think the only benefit they have is a buyer's agent saying, hey, we have exclusive listings that no other agent can see.
So I get you from a lighter price.
Unless you are a Compass agent. So the only people benefiting are the people working with Compass buyers agents, because they're like, okay, there's like...
Yeah, but then you're screwing your seller.
Oh, 100%. Like, all the sellers are screwed. Anyone having a seller, they're screwed. I'm just saying the only benefit is
you're
on
finding one side, because the buyer is going to get... Exactly. The buyer is going to get it for less money.
Or like they're going to get a few more listings that a normal buyer with an agent on the MLS private network is not seeing.
Yes.
Because it's only Compass to Compass. So they're trying to like brand this so it's Compass exclusive. So like if you're working with a Compass buyer's agent, you're getting a little bit more than anyone else.
I do like that analysis. That is the one, but that is zero sum. So whoever they're screwing.
Yeah, but they're still screwing at the other side. Like, no matter what, whoever owns that property that they're showing. I
mean, we just went through a massive lawsuit, and he's literally setting himself up. There's no way they're not going to get sued.
Yeah, there's no way.
Because you're only giving they're like 6 to 7% of the market, which means that you're like, hey, let me give you good data from 7 out of 100 people versus 80 out of 100, which produces the same results. There's no market time.
Right.
That's just nuts to me.
Yeah, I just don't know how I don't know how anyone's signing a listing agreement being like, yep.
I would love to see how they present it.
Yeah.
That, like, I want to hear the BS that they're being, I want to know the training.
I've even thought about it myself, because I'm like, I'll even talk to, anytime you talk to a seller and you're like, hey, do you want to list privately? Like, I have a listing coming up. We're going to list privately just because they're in this process of moving. And that's
but every broker's getting it.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's like fits their needs. Yeah. So I get it. And then we're like,
I got 4 kids. I don't need Tom, Dick, and Harry on Redfin or Zillow coming to look at it so they can break dance on my floors.
But then I'm like, let's go live no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I want to get as many eyeballs on this property as possible. I don't know. I can't even think of what an agent's telling their seller, being like, hey, this is only going to be.
Now the Burbs now, which I like, the Burbs puts it on private, but you're not allowed to see it.
Yeah.
So the Burbs now, which are so insane, the Burbs will put everything on the private network on Monday. It's private, but then they go active on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then it's open house Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday offers. But that private is just to get the brokers to give the listings to all their clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're still going on the MLS active on that Thursday. So they don't even take, because I've tried, they don't even take like really hard.
Yeah.
They won't even take offers on the private. Some of them don't even, to make it even better.
I think is really smart.
I mean, the amount of panic that it creates is amazing.
But I also just think, as someone representing a seller, I would never say, like, unless you have an incredible offer that's over asking, they're serious and the sellers are happy. But like, if you have a ton of interest and you're still, you want to just accept the first offer that comes in, and there's still so much interest after that, I just feel like you're doing such a disservice to any seller.
Yeah.
I like that they're doing that.
Yeah. And they won't even do all the photos.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll see a place listed, let's say today, with just a front photo. Oh, they're like, oh, we're not listing for 3 weeks. they leave that front photo.
That drives me nuts.
Yes.
Like, can I just get it?
But then my buyers are like, when's this coming on?
I'm in that situation now with a buyer. It's just the front photo. It's been listed on the
That's
PLN.
the Burbs, man. Is it Burbs?
No, it's
Is it here?
Bridgeport.
Yeah.
So it's Chicago. But it's just the
front
of the house.
Yeah.
And it's been listed now for a couple weeks. And I've been calling the agent. She's like, June, you can see it. So of course, June 1 hits. My buyer's like, we got to go see it. And I'm like, not yet. Can't see it yet. And it's just like this delayed game. I mean, she knows that I'm like on my toes, ready to see this place. I'm ready to start looking through the window.
I hate it as a buyer, but I think that's great.
Yeah.
But everything that we're talking about that just creates this interest and creates this pressure, price pressure, is everything that Compass is doing the other way.
Right. Yeah.
They're literally eliminating all of that.
Right.
I mean, it's just like, have they never heard of supply and demand? It's like this little thing in Econ 101. Yeah. Like if you don't have that demand and it's constant, the price doesn't rise. Mm-hmm. It's just something else to me on that aspect. All right, switching a little bit of gears. So let's talk about over the last 3 years, 3 things that happened to you where you were like, oh my God. And not the brick through your window because someone hated that you left Compass.
Brick through and rock.
And rock.
All right, 2.
Okay. I just think that's a bad breakup.
Yeah.
Well, that people just love you, man. They're like, she can't have it. I'm going to break shit.
Yeah, I'm going to break shit.
All right. So 3 things.
Career though.
Career. Yeah. Not your car, not the car swipes.
Yeah. I mean, I also had my car totaled. So I think just that car was bad.
Yeah, that car was bad.
Yeah.
So during COVID, during the lockdowns and you're doing showings, what's something that you remember that happened that you were like, oh my Lord?
Like as I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know. You run into like the craziest stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, I've definitely had, I think like the biggest like eye-opening thing was right before I joined the team and I was talking to you and I was like, this deal has fallen in and out of contract.
Oh, that one top floor thing.
Yeah. And it was like I had one deal that fell in and out of, and I was like, and it was always after the inspection. So like stuff like that happens, but I'm trying to think of something that's a little more like
something that happened to you where you're like, okay, I'm going to remember that and actually changed maybe how you do business or changed certain thoughts and how you do things. Like even if that place that went out of contract a gazillion times, what did you learn from that? And what would you change? If you could go back, what would it change? What would you change?
I honestly don't think going back, it's so hard because that's like really tough too. I think when you have like multiple offers that you're looking at and you're like, okay, this person sounds so great on paper or whatever. This person may be offering a lot more money. And I think too, sometimes it's not always, and people say this all the time, but like, it's also a way to talk to your sellers and say like, maybe it's not always about who's offering the most, but like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I would really change anything with that one. It was just like, would you not have a little bit more prep work and ask questions? Hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? Like what kind of prep work looking forward? Because that one had inspection item issues. Mm-hmm. What type of prep work looking forward? Like, all the places that fall apart for me, my deals that fall apart for me, like I learned like this deal that fell apart today, like, all right, like I assumed that this person understood some basic things. Yeah. Shame on me for thinking that. I'm going to make sure I really hammer in on these instances next time. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because it's also a way to kind of talk to your seller, don't you think? Like how your seller is going to approach it. Because if there's like a major issue and you're like, hey, let's get this contractor in and fix this issue before it comes up again. And your your seller says, no, I don't want to. Then what do you say? Or like, hey, this was fixed during this time. And that's all I have for you. I think it's kind of like a battle a little bit. Because it's like sometimes where I'm like, let's just get everything fixed. I'm more so like, if there's issues, let's fix them. I think there's always a solution to everything. Thank God. But if the solution is something your client's not willing to do, at what point would you say, I can't work with you anymore? Have you ever fired anybody? I I've stopped working with buyers, not a seller.
Okay. And why did you stop working with the buyer?
Oh, I've actually had a few. Just, it's like, hey, just not communicating, rude.
Is that more lead gen people that
No, this was actually a referral to me. I'm thinking about one person in particular.
Okay. Tell me the situation. We'll end on that situation.
She was a referral to me, and she wanted me to go places like way up north. And
like Gurney?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have fired her then.
And was it Antioch?
It's
far.
I don't even know where Antioch is, but the name alone correlates to Antarctica.
I came in and I was like, yes. And I came in and I'm like, I'm in Anatoc. And the guy's like, you're not from here. And I was like, no, I don't even know how to say it. And so she would call me on like a Saturday morning and be like, I need to get into this place today at 2. And I would be like, I can't. Like, I told you, like, I need at least 2 days, at least in advance to schedule. And then she would send me like an email Friday night at like midnight, as if I'm checking my emails at midnight, at like any day. And then she'd like, I need to get into this property tomorrow at like 8 a.m. And it was just this back and forth battle with her. Everything was my fault. And then sometimes I would hire agents who lived in that area and be like, hey, can you cover a showway? And then she's like, I don't even know who I'm working with. Like, is it you? Is it this other person? I'm like, I'm just trying to get you in the property. And it was just like this battle back and forth that came down to like an offer that we were going to put down at this property. And I mean, I don't know. This woman was like the devil.
Well, how did you break it?
I was just like, she wanted me to come to this, like, whatever. Then it was like when we all switched, that we had to have the buyer agreement filled out prior, and she wouldn't sign it.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. And I was like, and then she was screaming at me, sending me like hate messages. And I was like, no, good luck.
Did you talk to the person that referred you?
Yeah. And I was like, listen, she and I, like, we don't mesh, but I guess like I was like the 4th agent that she's been with.
Oh, Jesus.
So
that'd have been information you should have got from the beginning.
Yeah. But I don't think it was like, I don't think she's made any kind of move.
All right. So 3 things that you plan on doing this year that you haven't done yet that are going to affect your business in a positive way.
Doing my reach outs.
Okay.
And I think just being more organized about it.
Okay.
And then definitely like CRM.
Okay.
I really got to tackle that.
Okay.
And get organized.
And how are you going to do that? Can you make on film, a declaration of how you're going to do that and then hold yourself accountable to it?
I don't know. I need.
It's a number, right? I'm going to do 10 a day or I'm going to do 5 a day.
No, I would say I would probably put it down to 3 a day.
Okay.
3 a day. Because sometimes I don't, sometimes I think too, I don't want it to seem too like, hi, I'm just, not like genuine.
No, I mean, organizing your reach outs.
Oh, no. Organizing, I should do like 20 a day.
Yeah. The 3 a day is perfect for reaching out.
Yeah. Reach outs.
If I don't do them, I put them down to the next day. And then I say I didn't line it out. And I'm like, all right, now it's 6.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets up to 12. And I'm like, I just have to sit there for 2.
Yeah.
And your third thing. So CRM, reach outs.
Yeah.
Organize one you have to do first. You have to organize, then you do the reach outs. And what's a third thing you think you would do that would really help your business this year?
I got to get back on social media.
Okay.
Like, that's like my one thing that
Yeah, you were great at it.
I was. And then it really is like, I had so many times where I'm like, okay, I got to post 3 times a week.
Have you seen the stuff that Erica does with Melissa?
I know.
Awesome.
And I know. So I was like, I got to get, 3 times a week or whatever. And
you have to block time.
It just like falls through the cracks. Like if something comes up, I'm like, all right, screw it, not today. Or whatever.
Yeah, it's just blocking time and being like, I'm not like, this is what I'm going to do.
I think like really getting into social media, that's probably like my number one thing that I want to.
I think social media is probably your top priority, and then come down from there, because everything right now is just getting that, is getting your personality out there and what you do.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. All right, Maggie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for everybody hanging out with us. Maggie, 4 years in the business. She's been with, you've been with a small group, a super group, and now basically with us, which is your individual with in a collaborative sense.
Yeah.
And she's done great. And if you guys listen to her journey, I just really want you to think about the first 20 minutes when she talked about 4 open houses, basically mastering your craft and getting as much data and as much information you can about your craft to maintain that confidence and to get confident, and then to have that confidence come out when you meet people in situations and be able to get them as clients. That's what I gained from it.
You're nailed it.
Right on. All right. Be good, guys. We'll see you soon.